Now, you wanted me to tell you a little bit about myself.
Correct.
Okay. I have farmed all my life, and I've lived on that same farm all my life, except 2 years that I was in Korea in 1952 and 53. I was in Korea and Japan. And after that, I came back and I went right back to farming. And I never got married till I was 40 because I was busy farming and trying to get established. And I always have enjoyed farming. And so I just stayed right at it. And then finally, when I was 40, I got married. And lo and behold, the girl I married came from a farm too. So she had a pretty good idea what it was like.
Mm-hmm.
And she just picked right up. We had a herd of about 60 black Angus cows. There was hogs on our farm every day of my life that I can remember. So then my wife didn't know about hogs because her dad said, you don't want any livestock on your farm. He said, you don't want livestock. He said, even a dog is way too many livestock. So Marjorie's brother worked for a rancher in the sandhill. Be sure and look at some of their bulls because they were really good. So when you buy a bull, you get brochures that tell all the important traits about that bull. We'd get the brochure from that ranch, and then Marjorie would study it out completely, all the details, the specs, they called it, that went with it. And then she'd get through and she'd say, well, now we're going to go to that sale because that's such and such a date. And so we looked forward to that, going up into the sand hills and doing that. And we'd get there and then we'd find the pen where she had picked the bulls that would be acceptable in our herd.
Right.
She usually would pick 4 or 5. And that, so then she'd say, well, now, Harold, you get in there and you look them over now, and now it's up to you now. See, then I should pick what I like for confirmation. And I liked a bull that was symmetrically balanced. That meant he wasn't heavy in the front end and real peaked in the back, because that's where the expensive cuts are, towards the back, over the back, and the rounds and so on. And so then it was up to me. Through the years, we began to really build up the quality of our herd by doing this procedure.
Mm-hmm.
And we were both so interested. And what was so funny was that her dad was so against that. One time I took her dad down to a pasture we had, was really a wonderful pasture. It had a creek running through it that had water, had springs and ran year round. Just gotten a new bull, and we were so proud of him. And we had given we gave $7,500 for that bull. And we were scared to even mention it to him. But he went along with me to the pasture. Dad, what do you think of our new bull? He looked and said, a bull's a bull.
A bull's a bull.
There went my bubble. So then when we finally got home, and it was about supper time, we got in the house. Margie's dad said, now the first thing you're going to want to do is sell that pasture. And Marjorie just came unglued. That's for our Angus, and then he never said any more about it, and we were real lucky with our herd. We did real well. And then getting back to our hog setup, we started out with a small number of sows. We got up to the point where we had 24 sows, and our building here held 12. So we would farrow January 1st on the first one, and then 3 months later, the second. So we could go and be farrowing 4 times a year. And that was, we were able to market then 4 times a year, which really helped our cash flow and helped us buy our machinery and buy our farm and buy another quarter section right across the road. And so that's how we got started. Now, you probably want to ask me something. Have I talked too much?
Absolutely not. That's a very interesting story. So, one piece of advice to give, what would you give to a farmer today? What would you tell him or her?
My advice I would give someone, a young farmer, don't get greedy and try to farm it all.
Well, good. Well, I'm just here to tell you, you have a story to tell, and I much appreciate you sharing it because this was enjoyable for me.
Okay, well.
We'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.